What up, everybody? It's February 4th. We are coming in with a hot new episode of Nick Life Crisis. Given all the craziness of the NBA, me and Al from Harlem thought it would be an important time to get back on the mics and catch up. Really excited to talk to you guys about what we have in store today. We got two big games we just played. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to talk a lot about the Luka trade. Al, how you feeling this morning? How's it going over there?
Doing well, man. It's always good to talk after a tough win. I had Houston circled on my calendar, so I'm happy we were able to tough that out. But yeah, man, good to be back and talking Knicks as always.
Absolutely. And surprising turn of events, I would say. I was expecting a W with the Lakers and an L with Houston, and you actually, I believe, predicted the opposite. So you won this round, but I do want to say had a I went to MSG on Saturday. It was like a big event for me. I had my John Starks jersey as a tribute on to Josh Hart and his fantastic play of recently. I went to the Larney Stone, which is my new watering hole. Whenever I go to Knicks games, it's kind of a dump, but I love it. And I went with the guy I split season tickets with, and it was a lot of fun. We in our heads we were thinking like, how many more games does LeBron have left in MSG? Let's go, let's check this out, and he put on a show. So kudos to LeBron. He made us look like we were completely unprepared for him. He was maybe gave AD the night off to go pack his bags, and well, he kind of came into MSG and handled his business. A remarkable triple double, and I'll tell you, it was a show. He lived up to the hype. He was worth the price of admission, and the price of admission for that game was a little much, but it was great to see him show out, and he was competitive, and we looked a little bit lost. I was actually thinking about you when I was watching the game. So obviously a tough L on Saturday night. We saw OG get hurt with a non-contact injury. A lot of rumors were going around. Some people were talking about Achilles, and right now, fingers crossed, it looks like a day-to-day injury, and hopefully he'll be back in about a week's time. And I don't know if you saw, but when he went down in pain, depending on the angle, you could almost hear him mouth, "Call the minutes police." That's what I saw anyway. I don't know if that's actually true, but the pain in his eyes said, "Tibbs, what have you done to me?" And I think he muttered how much he hates you, Al. But for a different day, we got to get the audio on that. The other thing I want to call out, actually, of all things, was the rotation that night. So we had just finished talking about Tibbs, and I want to just take a second and talk about the minutes from that night because, again, one step forward, two steps back. So with our team, OG played 17 minutes. He got hurt, and the Precious played 29, which made sense. Deuce played 23. And so no one else really played more than 9 minutes. Shamit had 9 horrible minutes. And this was the thing with Shamit. Like, there's times to play him and there's times not to play him. There was no matchup set up for Shamit to excel that night. And it was just, I thought, a poorly coached game by Tibbs. And we basically played a six-man rotation. And so I was kind of disappointed in how we handled things. But on to better things, which was a great game last night. Houston, obviously, we're injured with OG, no Mitch. They didn't have Sengun or Fred. And so it was probably one of the better games I can remember watching in a long time. It was a lot of runs. I mean, I don't know how many times we were down by 10, 12 points in the third and even fourth quarter. And to see us be resilient, make runs, I was really, really impressed with the Knicks. And just I want to get your thoughts on it too, but I want to share a fatherhood thing with you because you know being a dad of a 2-month old, my consumption of Knicks sports is wild. So just so you know, I had not, our nanny wasn't available this week. We had no help. I basically fell asleep on the couch at like 9:15. I could not stay awake for the life of me for this game. And my son woke up at 4 in the morning, and I had to walk him around the house, kind of burp him, chill him out a little bit. And I thought to myself, I'm like, what are the chances? Because like when I woke up from the couch and I went to bed, I saw the Knicks had won. I'm like, what are the chances this is replaying somewhere? And NBA TV, baby, 4 in the morning had the Knicks game replay on, and I got to
Oh
see the
my
second
God.
half of the game. And there's nothing better than rewatching a game where you know the Knicks won. Um, Needless to say, I'm in shambles. I don't even know what's going on with my life anymore. But a great game. I'm glad I got to see with my son, even though he had no idea what was going on, and a fantastic victory all the way around. But a gem by Jalen Brunson. He passes Carmelo Anthony for the most 40-point for third on the list of most 40-point games in Knicks history. Al, what is your reaction to that fantastic game from last night?
That was our toughest win of the year, man. For sure. Toughest win of the year. That Houston team is tough. They're nasty. And, I think, the Knicks might not have the best reputation. Like, I think the scouting report is to, play us tough, get up into us, like, and muck the game up. Like, and that's what Houston came in and did. They were trying to bully us, pretty much. They were trying to bully us, and they were bullying us. So I was pretty upset watching the game. I was not happy with Karl Anthony Towns, especially in the Laker game. I was not happy with him. I thought that game was set up for him to dominate, and he did. He had his worst game as a Knick against the Lakers, and then again against Houston, it was set up for him to dominate. The tallest guy that they started was 6'8", and the way Cat was playing was like he was also 6'8" when he's a 7-footer. I want to see him. Back in the day, if it was Shaq, he would have backed those guys down and put them through the rim, like literally through the rim. That's what I want to see Cat do. He's much stronger and bigger than those guys. He has to exert himself, assert himself, and impact the game like as a bully. And so I'm starting to see that soft Cat stuff, and I'm not liking it, man. I'm really not liking it. On top of that, last time we spoke, we mentioned Karl Anthony Towns and his injury, and it's starting to like show like he's not playing as well as he was playing um, prior to the injury, and so Tommy Beer on Twitter, he just posted his numbers like pre-injury and post-injury. So I'll just share it right here for you real quick, and I'll read it to you. Um, first 37 games pre-injury, Karl Anthony Towns averaged 25.4 points, 14 rebounds, and two made three-pointers per game. Shooting 55% from the floor and 45% from three. And now over his last 7 games since injuring his thumb, Cat is averaging 18.1 points, 10.9 rebounds, 0.7 made three-pointers, and shooting 43.5% from the floor and 20% from beyond the arc. Like that is really bad. And so that's what we were talking about in the last episode. Like if he puts up those numbers in the playoffs and plays soft like how he was playing last night, the Knicks fan base is going to destroy him. He needs to figure it out because that's the way he's been playing has not been good. He's really going to benefit from the All-Star break, I think. But I have major cause for concern with Karl Anthony Towns. Thank God that Jalen Brunson has a great pulse on the team. Like he knows when he has to come in and take over and put the team on his back. He doesn't try to do it every night, but he knows when he has to take over. And yesterday he had to take over. And then he also had 10 assists yesterday too, right?
Yeah, he I think only had 25 points or something going into the fourth quarter. So he did to your point, he asserted himself at the right time. He has a real feel for this team. And he's very deserving of the title captain because that was a captain-esque performance by him last night. Let me ask you a quick question about Cat because you bring up some good points. Look, I think the Cat, the MVP Cat we saw early in the season, and the Cat we're seeing now, I don't. I think personally, I think he's tired. I think it's showing on his defense because one thing I've noticed about him more recently is this was something he's always been known for in Minnesota is stupid fouls. I believe he fouled out again last night. Um, he's tired. The legs aren't moving, and I don't think he wants to be anchoring this defense. I think there was a lot of emotion and momentum that helped carry him in the first half of the season as the center. But I think he needs to move back to the four. I think him at center is a great lineup for us, but it should not be. It should be like our. It should be like our death lineup, like when Draymond played center for the Warriors. That's how we should be using him, like at those opportune times, so we can play a different style. But I feel like he doesn't. He's not. He should not be anchoring our defense. We'll talk a little bit about Mitch later. Hawk Porty was getting run last night, which I thought was interesting. No Sims getting run. So I'm having a very hard time understanding our bench and what Tibbs is doing with rotations. Hawk Porty also, I think, had like 4 fouls in 6 minutes. Um, but yeah, any thoughts to maybe we have to Tibbs has to do a better job with setting up Cat to be successful? Does he look worn out to you? Like, what are your thoughts on how we get him back to playing playing better basketball?
Yeah, I think he just needs the All-Star break, man, and he needs to get that thumb right because it's clearly like the dip happened, after he hurt his thumb. But also remember, he's been dealing with knee tendonitis or tendinopathy, whatever it's called. So I got a feeling he's gonna look even worse tonight against the Raptors. I'm gonna be watching him tonight to see how he looks tonight. But it's all of that, dude. He's been having a constant knee problem the whole first half of the season, and now his thumb is messed up. He's playing a new position that he's not totally comfortable in, and teams are attacking him. So when he's working so hard on defense, and he has to come turn around and be the bully that I want him to be on offense, it can be difficult and it can be draining. So you see him, tired, right? So we play today, and then he has 3 games, 3 days before we turn around and play the Celtics. Because against the Celtics, he better show up, or they're gonna show up and show out on us. And I'm not trying to have that again.
Absolutely right. And I just, I want to close on one thing because I know we really want to talk about this trade. One thing I've noticed a lot, right? Mikal, Josh Hart, even Jalen Brunson, just because he's much smaller than, Cat is and OG. OG and Cat carry around a lot of weight in terms of just their body composite, right? They're just bigger guys. And I feel like that really, we talk about knee tendonitis and all these pains and injuries, like they can't be playing more than 32 minutes a game. Like they just can't. It's just not good for us. And I think we want to see a healthier second post All-Star game break. We're going to have to dial down their minutes. And it better OG get injured now, take a week, 2 weeks off than, in March or April. So hopefully we continue to make adjustments. Hopefully Mitch, we'll talk about him in a second, come back. But with all of that, we have, as this is obviously a Knick podcast. We talk a lot about the Knicks, but we are basketball fans. And the world was, I would say, was shook after what we saw went down. I mean, you have your clip. We're going to get into it. I went to, after the loss, I went to the, the Blarney Stone next to MSG with my buddy, and we were, drinking and chopping it up. And Anthony Donahue, shout out to him. Twitter handle at Anthony MSG. Ran into him at the bar. My buddy recognized him from Twitter. He's a big Twitter follower of his, and we literally found out the news while talking to Anthony at the bar about the Luka trade. And just like everyone else, we really thought it was a hack. We didn't think that this was real in any sort of capacity. I'm excited for you to share your clip because your reaction that you managed to catch live was, I think, everyone's reaction. And I honestly was in such disarray because, as a dad, I haven't been drinking as much lately. So I was really feeling it at the end of the night and I could not get my head around this trade for the life of me. So shout out to Anthony at MSG. We're going to have you on our podcast soon. It was great meeting you. But Al, Luka for Anthony Davis, obviously some other pieces with Max Christie and Kleber, but that is the headline trade. The world is saying, let's get your take.
It was a wild night, man. So I was live on Playback TV doing a watch along with my buddies for the Laker game because one of my friends who happens to go by Crisis is a big Laker fan, really a LeBron fan, but now he's a Laker fan. Um, so we were watching the game, and then we just stayed on afterwards to just like just chill, talk. We were talking about the Jets and the Jets schedule and all that stuff because the Jets are coming to Tampa. So I was telling my buddy to come to Tampa. And then in the middle of all that, one of the guys was my brother-in-law. He goes, "Did you guys see this on Bleacher Report?" But just like very nonchalant. And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And so everyone goes to look at their phones, and you just hear everyone erupt. They're like, "Oh my God!" It was insane. And then I clipped it and I put it up. I posted it on my Twitter, and Playback TV actually grabbed my clip and did a montage with some other like huge streamers that have like hundreds of thousands of followers and put my piece into their montage and added me and all that. Like it's a pretty cool moment. Let me show you.
I'll be right back. Luka got traded to the Lakers.
Go to Bleacher Report.
No way. I'll be right back. Luka got traded to the Lakers.
Go to Bleacher Report.
No.
Yo, and then I just clipped my just clipped my boy's face. Oh man, it was too funny.
We need to incorporate that face into like a segment of our show. I feel like it needs to be like, what's the worst thing that happened to you this week, and then show this guy's face and talk about what's happening with the Knicks. Like he just earned himself a segment on Nick Life Crisis because that man's going through a crisis right there.
He went viral. My boy Tamel went viral. It's hilarious, man.
So with all the dust settling, what when you finally realized it was real? I mean, I think this trade took. I'm glad we took 2 days to actually talk about this because this was a lot to comprehend. Because I was thinking to myself, So I don't mean to cut you off. I'm like still shocked by that. I don't even know what words to use sometimes. This was so bad of a reaction by everybody in the NBA. I would almost think that like Dallas would be like, you know what? Nico would be like, oh boy, I guess this is really bad. Like let's actually cancel the trade. Like, did something happen? Because remember, it wasn't official. It was announced by Shams, but then it became official like the next day. So did they not have enough like time to get? Anyway, I just unbelievable. What was your reaction to this trade?
Was easily the craziest trade in NBA history. Could be the craziest trade in all of sports history, to be honest with you, man. It literally took me the whole next day, Sunday, to like process what the heck happened. My thoughts on it are, I you know, I think that was a good trade for the Mavs. Kudos to that GM, man. That took big balls. Let me tell you something. I have a friend that's a you know Barkley, right? My line brother,
Yes,
Barkley.
yes, I
So
do.
he's a big Mavs fan, and I just looked up before the pod. I was like, let me look up our messages because I was talking to him about Luka, and I found it. March 19th, I text him this. Listen to this. You like watching Luka? This is horrible. The dude is a lazy piece of shit, like on the floor. I'm just watching him walk up and down the floor right now. This is me to him. And he goes, I'm not watching right now, but I've seen it. It's tough. It's like, what do you do? He's talented. It's not like you can just bench him. And I'm like, I know. And then he's like, you can't just quit on a franchise player like that. And then I was just saying like how, when he shoots bad, it's like he really quits on defense or whatever. But that was in March. And then I said, I don't see him winning a championship with his play style. And then, of course, he went to the NBA Finals that year. But he was also particularly bad on defense in the NBA Finals, and the Celtics just completely tore him up. And he was a big reason why the Mavs lost in the NBA Finals. His conditioning is always an issue. Look, he's super talented, but like if he doesn't have like the desire to play defense, if he's gonna be a cone on defense, then it's not gonna work. Like look at Jalen Brunson, dude. He has a lot of shortcomings defensively, but this season he's taken a step forward. Like he's been playing tough defense, and last night he had a defensive stop down the stretch, like at the end of the game. So like he knows that he has to be
And
better
leads the league in
defensively
charges taken too.
because teams will just pick on you. Like
Yeah.
that's the way NBA offenses work now, and so he just got picked on. And I went back and looked at the clip from the NBA Finals when Brian Windhorst just eviscerated Luka Doncic, and I just wanted to play it for everyone again, just to remind them this is how bad defense he was playing.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect that Luka fell onto the ground there in an unacceptable position to put himself in with 4 minutes left with 5 fouls, and then immediately looks at the bench and says, you better bleeping challenge it, as if it's the bench's fault that he just made a terrible play. I'm standing here in the Mavericks tunnel. Over there is the Celtics tunnel. That's where the winners are. If Luka's ever going to be a winner coming out of this tunnel here, he is going to have to use what's happened in this finals as a learning experience. His defensive performance is unacceptable. He is a hole on the court. The Celtics are attacking him. They are ahead in this series because they have attacked him defensively. And you've got a situation here where Luka is complaining about the officiating. They have begged him. They have talked with him. They have pleaded with him. He is costing his team because of how he treats the officials. He's a brilliant player. He does so many things well. They are here because of how he did. His performance in this game is unacceptable and the reason why the Mavericks are not going to win. He's got to get over this. And the fact that he came out after the game and blamed the officials showed me he's nowhere close yet. So maybe over the summer somebody will get to him because nobody with the Mavericks or anybody else in his life has. And that's where the Mavericks are at this point. They're never going to get to this tunnel with the trophy if he doesn't improve those aspects of his game.
And man, like he said it then, and the Mavs know more than anybody else what's going on with Luka. They see him every day. So I think they made an informed decision. They got back Anthony Davis, who just in his last game, he dropped 40 and 20. So I think that the Mavs did a good job. A lot of people complaining about the number of picks that they got, but Anthony Davis is worth like 3 or 4 first round picks. So if they just got a bunch of first round picks, they'd be automatically in tank mode and they wouldn't be a championship contender anymore. But they got Anthony Davis to anchor their defense. He's still playing great. He's an all NBA player, first team. And they're still championship contenders without Luka. Now, after having said all that, Luka goes to LA. Maybe in LA they can, get his mind right. Get him fully focused in terms of like getting into shape and reaching his absolute full potential, and him, becoming a better defender, just being around LeBron and that organization. Maybe he just, something clicks with him, right? Maybe he needed a change of scenery. So the Lakers, I don't know if the Lakers were gonna. Anthony Davis didn't want to be there anymore because he didn't want to play center. So I don't know if they were going to win a championship with him. Now the Lakers they have another facilitator, another ball handler. This kind of adds like an extra 3 years to LeBron's shelf life because he doesn't have to be the person, pounding the rock and creating everything and being the number one option on the Lakers anymore. Now Luka can handle most of that, so that extends LeBron's shelf life a bit. And now the Lakers can go out. There has to be another move after this. I believe the Lakers will go out and get a center somewhere. I don't know what center that is. If they can get Miles Turner, look out. That's going to be crazy. And then the last thing I'll say is the Lakers play Dallas at the end of February, and I hope to
At
see
25th.
that game. I hope Luka plays that game. But what are your thoughts on the trade, man?
So I'll start with I disagree with you on Nico. I think Nico is an idiot. I think Nico has a track record of being an idiot from everything I've read.
He definitely
So
does. He definitely does. Now that's the only thing. He does have a track record of being an idiot, but I think that took big balls, and it was something that I mentioned to my friend. Because what do? You give him that super max, and as soon you know how many times players have gotten paid, and all of a sudden they become a shell of themselves because they got their money. So that they were running that risk, and they probably thought if we pay this guy, he's already coming in out of shape, and he's supposed to be trying to get this max contract, and he's coming in showing us this now. So what do you think is going to happen when I pay them? When I pay him?
So I completely agree with you. So I think one thing. So I stand by my statement. I think Nico's an idiot. Um, but I also think the owners have something to do with it. Like a trade like this doesn't go down without the new owners of the Mavs obviously being cool with it. So there's some, I've been hearing some conspiracies. We're not going to get into conspiracies today because there's just too much to unpack for that. But this is so where I agree with you is this. I think that Dallas had every right to be concerned. Luka, watched the finals, big NBA fan. The complaining that he does probably costs his team like 6 or 7 possessions a game where they're playing 4-on-5 because Luka's complaining about something or something. He really turned into a diva. He did, however, get his team to the finals at the age of 25 and to the Western Conference Finals at very young ages. So there is something to be said about his talent. I agree with you that I think if he signed an extension, it could have become a problem for Dallas because of the money, because of the laziness, eating a lot of barbecue down there. And I know you enjoy this. I always like to compare myself to premier NBA athletes and how I carry myself. But he just had his first kid. You heard me in my story. It's like it's not easy, bro. It's not easy keeping this body up with the little one at home. Obviously, we have different support, but that like, but what where I think he was heading towards, which I think you might agree with me, is he started to feel like he was going down the path of being the James Harden of the Houston Rockets, which is coming into camp out of shape, playing his way into shape, amazing numbers on offense. Would he ever be able to get you over the hump when he's getting paid $60 million a year? I don't know. I don't, you know, maybe it was a smart move on like, hey, like this isn't going to work out. Where I disagree is I do think there were way better offers out there. You could have gotten 8 first-round draft picks. You could have moved him for some other talent. I'm not in love with a 31-year-old Anthony Davis. And the other thing, which is the biggest kicker to me and which bothers me so much, how the Lakers got another star like this is ridiculous. And two, let me tell you something that works, okay? Especially for Luka, and he's proven this with the test case of Devin Booker, as like Devin talked, and Devin Booker's never went past Luka again after he tried to talk some shit to him. If he gets fat shamed in LA, it will be the best thing for his career, and he is gonna get fat shamed. Dude, you lose 20 pounds just showing up to LA. Your life is just different. Everybody there is in shape. And so you're going to see a better Luka that's going to be pissed off, trying to prove that the Dallas Mavericks made the biggest mistake of their career. And I think that this changes the course of his career, and the Lakers will undoubtedly benefit. The Luka jersey will be the number one selling jersey in the world in a matter of weeks, and they have a pissed off Luka, and a pissed off Luka should put the NBA on watch. And I think that, you know, I think that it was. I understand why the Mavs did it based on what you said. I still think that they could have gotten way more. They should have set up a bidding war for him, and they should have gotten crazy. As you said in our early days of this podcast, the Knicks gave up 5 first-round draft picks for Mikal Bridges. I am now losing sleep over like what is the new value of trades in the NBA. Like you didn't give up any. How did you not include the 2031 first-round draft pick in this? How do the Lakers still have a 2031 draft pick that there's floating around for their next trade move? It's insane to me. So that's kind of where I stand with it. I think I understand why the Lakers got out of the Luka business. I'm sorry, I understand why the Mavs got out of the Luka business. I just think they got out of the Luka business in the worst way possible. So that's my 2 cents. Any other thoughts on Luka before we talk about the next big trade, Wemby getting a sidekick? Anything else you want to add on Luka?
No, I'm good on Luka.
Okay, so actually, before we go to Luka, one other shout I want to make. The only trade I've seen worse than this, I was thinking about this for a while from a Knicks perspective. I'm going to take you back to 2013. Do you know what I'm going to say?
No.
Andre Bargnani. This is the only trade worse than the Luka trade was when we traded for Andre Bargnani. So I just want to get that off my chest because that trade really pissed me off, and that's how I would. That's the closest we can feel to what Dallas fans are going through right now because they are bringing out caskets to the arena. They're getting real. It's getting real dark down there. Let's move on to another highway robbery by a great team. The San Antonio Spurs have just acquired De'Aaron Fox in a 3-trade deal that includes the Bulls moving Zach LaVine to Sacramento and De'Aaron Fox going to the Spurs, and the Bulls. I'm not going to read the trade assets because the Bulls got nothing. The Bulls got their 2025 draft pick back, and they are the cheapest big city team I've ever seen, and they deserve nothing. So, interesting to see. What are your thoughts on what this De'Aaron Fox Wemby pairing will look like? And do you have any other reaction to any of the other aspects of this trade that you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, I have no. I actually, now that I think about it, I have no idea who else was in the trade. Oh, I think part of this trade, Zach LaVine went to Sacramento, and now he's paired again with DeMar DeRozan because that worked out really great in Chicago the first time around. So that didn't, to me, that didn't do anything. I think the Kings got worse, and I don't think they're gonna be doing anything anytime soon. I think it's a great trade for the Spurs. Obviously, it's gonna help maximize Wemby. They're gonna be exciting to watch. And Luka on the Lakers, and now De'Aaron Fox running wild with Wemby. Like the ratings can only go up now. Have you seen what they asked Giannis about the Luka trade? Did you see his reaction?
Yeah, I loved his reaction. I was all about it. I didn't
So
know how to make it work. Why don't
his
you tell him?
reaction. Let me play it real quick because it's a pretty interesting reaction. Watch it. Hold on.
Very serious. Now that a European will be, I believe, the face of the Lakers. This is something new for Europe. It's never happened before. I just love it. You know what I want? I want Luka to the Lakers. I want Jokic to the Knicks. I want all the Europeans to go to all the big markets, to see something incredible. This is what I want. This.
Yeah,
Giannis for OG, baby. Giannis for OG and Mitch. Let's make that happen.
Yeah, so this dude, he talks about he wants to see all the Europeans go to the big markets, Luka to the Lakers, and then he says Jokic to the Knicks. Dude, you wanted to say I want to go to the Knicks. Like But we don't have any picks anymore, so we can't. We spent it all on Mikal Bridges, so that's a pipe
Well, now
dream.
apparently you only need one pick, so it's fine now. Now the new trade market's been set. You know,
OG and
it's
one pick.
insane to me that all these teams have this many draft picks, and this is what's coming. I was just thinking, what do the Kings have? Light the beam, right? They just went from like light the beam to like turn on a flashlight. Like they dropped so bad, and they could have. The Spurs have more picks than they know what to do with, and they came away with that. That's why I don't understand this new NBA anymore, or maybe just there's a lot of rich stupid people out there that own NBA teams that just don't care. Like I'm blown away, Al. And I just want to close with your thoughts. You know, Jimmy Butler, that thing's a mess. Maybe by the time we talk next time, there'll be some transparency into where that's going to net out. But our boy Mitchell Robinson has been brought up in the news. He's cleared for contact. He's about to start playing. Did you see his most recent Instagram post where he refers to all the Knicks as Knick fans as "Hey, you effers"? Yeah, real nice, Mitch. Thank you. And now he's talked about in rumors to the Lakers. Any reactions to Mitch and what he's doing, and how do you feel? How are you feeling about Mitch?
Well, I'm excited that he just got cleared for contact, for full contact. I don't think he's gonna get traded. I don't think the Lakers are all that interested in him. He would be really good on the Lakers, man. That would be something to watch. My buddy Crisis said he doesn't really. He said he prefers Claxton over Mitch because they Claxton is also another rumor target for the Lakers. But yeah, in the end, I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. I think we'll end up seeing him at this point. He'll be ready by the end of All-Star break. But I do want to caution Knicks fans. He is going to look rough for 30 days, at least a month. He's going to look rough. Everyone else has been playing basketball, and then he's just gonna plop in not in basketball shape. It's gonna take him a long time to get his legs under him and start producing. So I don't want to hear people complaining about Mitch in the first 30 days. You have to give him grace. You have to.
I'm with that. I'm excited to get Mitch back. I like his attitude. I like his personality. I like that he's basically a hick at heart, and I think it's great. And to your point, I mean, he's basically going to have played just as many minutes as the rest of our bench getting back. So it'll be it'll be good to get him in the lineup. Shout out to the Tips Minutes Police because it's back on watch. And yeah, Al, I'm glad we got this emergency podcast in. The NBA is keeping life very entertaining right now, and proud of our Knicks for their big W against Houston, controlling what we can control. Any closing remarks for the fans out there?
Let's beat the Celtics on Saturday. Let's go. I need that W for me.
I like that. I like that, and we'll catch up with all of you soon. We got big Knicks game Saturday, Super Bowl Sunday, and you'll be hearing from me and Al on Knicks Life Crisis in the very near future. Thanks, everybody, and 2 days left till trade deadline. Good luck, everyone.